So I left off on the last video. I had my imaginary topic that I got for the SOL, which was, should schools have physical education classes? Should that be something that they carry over all the way through high school? And I came up with all of these ideas, everything that came to mind when I thought about PE classes, just um, stuff about whether it was fun, stuff about like the ages at when things changed, games that were played, health stuff, whatever. Then I went through and I grouped them. And I said, okay, well, here's a bunch of stuff that's about age and grade. And so that's like 11th grade when it stops, how things are good in good in elementary school, bad in high school, things kind of overlapping there. Um, Fun versus not fun. So then I got my games in here that we used to play, how it was fun in elementary. And then now I'm already scrolling too far. The different health aspects. So exercise, overweight stuff, heart issues, all of those kind of things. So I went through, I came up with my ideas and I grouped them together. This is what you had to do on the final exam when I did the part 2 of the exam. And I said, have a topic and do your pre-write and then group them. So I have all the yellow stuff, all the blue stuff, and then I left out the health stuff. I just left that like white colored. But I grouped them into 3 different groups, and then there are some that won't make it in there. That's fine. So then once I had that picked, I said, okay, now let me try to break these down into how I'm going to arrange them. So, okay, I know I'm going to have a paragraph on health stuff. Let me do sort of a second pre write to come up with how many things I can think of that have to do with health. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. I'm not going to put most likely 5 things in this paragraph. Later on, when I go to write, I'll pick the best ones. I sort of arrange them here by the order that I want to talk about and which one I thought was least important and most important and middle important. And then I came down here and started to do a little bit of an outline. So I want to come back to this. So I've decided that I want to have a paragraph that's on PE being fun versus not fun. And I set up here that I had a lot of stuff that was about like age and grade. So I'm going to combine the fun and not fun into elementary and high school fun, not fun. So with elementary school, if I'm doing my sort of other pre-write here, I'm going to say like the games that they played, that it was everyday thing. And yes, that is the 2 word. And just in general, super fun. In high school, I'm going to bring back the stuff I set up here about it being boring, no participation. Let's see. Felt bad. Taught by someone who wasn't really interested. People skipped it. People didn't like having to dress out in the locker room. So I will say for high school that it was boring, that there was no participation, and only played, the basic sports. We would play like basketball and volleyball, and that's pretty much it. And if you didn't like basketball and volleyball, oh well, sorry about your luck. And then my argument, because I have to tie it to my argument where I chose that yes, they should have PE throughout school, I now have to say, okay, but fun isn't the most important thing. So how can I, and I'm doing this on the spot, I'm just thinking out loud here. I haven't written this essay yet. When I'm trying to say fun isn't really that important, I'm thinking you take lots of subjects in school that you won't need in adult life. Like I took what was the one? Astronomy? Astronomy and oceanography. That's what it's called. I don't need astronomy and oceanography. I needed a science credit. So you have lots of subjects in school that you won't need in adult life, but it's still important to learn because just education in general is important. Therefore, PE, not always fun, but teaching life skills. So now I've got kind of the bones here of what I'm going to put in that body paragraph, but I'm not writing it yet. And when I go back to write it, probably going to cut some of this or rearrange some of this stuff. But so far, I've got one paragraph. Do I have fun as a yes? So I've got one body paragraph. This is going to be all of my green stuff. No, I'm not going to do that. It's going to make you guys probably get confused. So this is doing red here. What will go in body paragraph 1? Now for teamwork and sports, this is what will go in body paragraph 2. So going back up here, teamwork, social skills, learning sports. What else did I say about this? Forward to kids on screens, no exercise. Was that all I had on that? Don't know that I want to do teamwork in sports. Actually, I'm going to change this. So for those of you watching, you can see what revision looks like in real life because I'm going back and looking at it now and thinking, okay, I really don't have enough that I can get a full paragraph just about teamwork. Hooray. So instead, especially since I talked about it right here, I'm going to make this life skills. So for my major detail, I'm going to say PE teaches teamwork. Then I'm going to explain that means you often do team sports. Thinking also like field day, when we play field day games like three-legged race and whatever they call it when you run the balloon back and forth and then somebody sits on it and pops it. I don't know, that was super fun. So it teaches you teamwork and it will teach confidence because you might go from out of shape to in shape, or you might be good at a sport. And then the third thing that it's going to teach is, let's see, confidence, teamwork, endurance. And I set up there the pacer test / president's test. And then the various exercises. So now I have the bones for my second paragraph. Then my third one, what's going to be my most important, is going to be about health. And so I'm going to start by laying the groundwork and saying we have an obesity epidemic in the country. And I would explain that kids eat junk and no exercise because they're on their screens. So that's pulling in stuff that I set up here. I saw screen time on here somewhere. Kids on screens, overweight epidemic. So then PE is going to have exercise then I would probably do like some of the ones that are in elementary school games. Did I talk about that already? Oh, I already talked about it. So let me stress this. I talked about the games in elementary school up here. Therefore, I cannot talk about it here. I have to find something else I want to say about exercise because I already did games. I can't talk about games in another paragraph. So for exercise, I'm going to say they do a lot of cardio. Cardiovascular. What is that called? Crap. The exercises you do that are just like jumping jacks and stuff. It's cardio, but it has a name. Calisthenics. Ooh, I busted out a big word. I don't know how to spell it. Calisthenics? Either that's not right, or, sorry, either that is right, or it doesn't even have enough to make a guess. Synonyms. Sure enough, spelled it right. Heck yeah, good job, Samantha. Okay. So it's going to do exercise, cardiovascular, calisthenics, and I'm going to say something about like even walking is better than nothing. And then my third reason that it's good for health is that it is, when I was in school anyway, it is often paired with a health class. Okay, paired. And that's where we would learn about healthy food, and they would do family life. I can already tell you now I'm going to end up cutting that because it's not really relevant. And the importance of balanced nutrition and exercise. And so now I have the bones of what will go in paragraph 3. Zoom out a little. So I started with a pre-write, grouped them together, started to see, okay, what can I do as far as putting these in actual paragraphs? Realized some of it wasn't going to work, so I changed it. Moved it out a little bit because luckily I had other things in here that I could work with. So now the next step would be to figure out if I want to rearrange any of this stuff, cut any of this stuff. And so a lot of it I'm going to be kind of working in my imagination. I said out loud a second ago, I'm probably going to end up cutting this. So you could see, like, at the stage that I'm doing the outlining stuff, I am already seeing, that doesn't really fit here, or it's not really like it was in the other paragraphs. Another thing that you can be looking for is whether or not you have your counter argument, whether you have your what the opposition says, what the other side is going to argue. And that's kind of what I see I've got going here. And so when I go to write it, and I might even want to kind of circle it now or put stars, I'm going to put it in red for the sake of it standing out. Make sure I include my rebuttal because this is my counter argument part. So when I go to write this and I have my little list here, I don't just accidentally sound like I'm switching sides halfway through. I include what they say, but I got to make sure that I make it sound better. So that's how you get from the pre-writing to the organizing to the outline. I'm going to stop this video here because I think if I put it in little chunks, that might help you guys learn better from it. So until next time.